Imagine receiving a piece of advice that almost cost you your marriage. Sounds unthinkable, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. It was a shock to the system, a revelation that left me in a cold sweat. The advice came from a source that most of us would consider reliable, even conventional. It was not from a self-proclaimed relationship guru or a dubious online forum, but from a place that many of us turn to for wisdom and guidance. And that's why, at first, it seemed sound, logical, even helpful. But like a Trojan horse, it hid a dangerous truth, one that was about to undermine the foundation of my relationship. So what was this advice that nearly wrecked my marriage? Brace yourselves, as it's not what you might expect. The advice that almost ended my marriage was, always be right. Sounds harmless, doesn't it? But here's why it's not. At first, this advice filled me with a sense of confidence. I thought, yes, I should always strive to be right. That's what strong, responsible people do, right? Little did I know, this would soon lead to a growing rift between me and my spouse. You see, being right all the time meant never admitting when I was wrong. It meant not listening to my spouse's perspective, not valuing their input. I was so focused on being right that I stopped being fair. And that's when the conflict started. Small arguments turned into big fights. I was so obsessed with proving my point that I forgot to stop and listen. I forgot that in a marriage it's not about winning an argument, it's about understanding each other. My insistence on being right all the time damaged our relationship. It created an environment of competition instead of cooperation. My spouse felt unheard, unvalued, and that's not what a marriage should feel like. It took a while, but I finally saw the damage my always be right attitude was causing. The advice that I once thought was empowering was actually driving a wedge between me and my spouse. And that was a turning point, realizing that being right all the time was causing more harm than good. You might wonder, what's so wrong about wanting to be right? Well, the problem lies not in being right, but in always wanting to be right. Let's delve into this a bit more. It's not about the desire to be right per se, but rather the mindset that it cultivates. This advice, although seemingly harmless, subtly encourages a competitive spirit rather than a cooperative one within a marriage. It's like two boxers in a ring, each trying to land the knockout punch. But here's the catch. In a marriage, there's no referee to declare a winner. It's a continuous round that can lead to perpetual conflict. The essence of a successful marriage is not about winning or losing. It's about understanding, compromise, and mutual respect. It's not a battlefield where you're trying to score points, but rather a dance where you both move in rhythm, complementing each other's steps. Imagine a world where you're always trying to prove your point, always striving to be right. It can get exhausting, right? Now imagine a world where you're trying to understand your partner, trying to see things from their perspective. It's a whole different ballgame, isn't it? Marriage is about being a team, about working together towards a common goal. It's about finding a middle ground, a place of mutual respect and understanding. It's about love, not competition. So, the challenge wasn't about being right. It was about understanding that a marriage isn't a competition. The journey from almost losing my marriage to strengthening it taught me a lot. But I'm sure I'm not alone in this. In the grand tapestry of life, every thread has a story woven with emotions, experiences, and lessons. Each of you has your own unique narrative, filled with triumphs, trials, and wisdom garnered from the realm of marriage. Reflecting on these experiences can provide a wealth of knowledge, not just for you, but for others as well. You see, sharing is not just about recounting tales. It's about growth, learning, and mutual understanding. It's about debunking myths, shattering misconceptions, and nurturing healthier, stronger relationships. Every piece of advice, every shared experience, adds a new layer to our collective understanding. It's a beautiful process of learning and unlearning. I invite you to share your own experiences with marriage advice. Together, we can debunk myths and build stronger relationships, so go ahead, comment below and let's learn from each other.